Welcome, friends and fans, to another episode of Full Court Press with the pastor, Coach Jenkins. If you're joining us for the first time, I'm Coach Jenkins, and this is Season 1, Episode 6 of the Full Court Press. Today is a special episode because I want to take a step back to really dive into what this upcoming vlog and podcast is truly going to be all about, and the heart behind it, and what you, our valued listeners, can expect each time you tune in with the pastor. Listen, I am a coach at heart. I officially coach girls basketball, but I also believe God is calling me into a different level of coaching in the spirit to encourage people like yourself and those that are trying to find their way and they're looking for spiritual enlightenment, by paralleling what I do, which is to coach basketball, and to bring that into the mindset of the game of life. Because even in the game of life, we got to have a playbook. We got to work at it. We got to go hard at it. And there are some things and there are some lessons that we can learn that can truly make us successful. So I want to talk a little bit about what you can expect from me, your coach, your mentor, your encourager. Full Court Press with the pastor. And I want you to help me get the word out, because it's more than just a podcast or a vlog. It's going to be a community where the game of basketball and the game of life comes together. And here we'll use the principles of the court to tackle real live issues, life issues, things that are true to nature, things that we're walking in every day. And all through, we'll do it through a Christ-like perspective. I tell people all the time, man, we can't get to a place in life where we deny the power of God. We deny God's answer to mankind, which is Jesus Christ. And there's a lot of people that are different from that, and that's going to turn a lot of people off from this vlog or this podcast. But it's also going to draw a lot of people to understand that God's answer to mankind is not something that just make us jerk when we're in church, or make us cry when we hear the preacher preach. But I believe it's God's recipe for a successful life on this earth, and to end with the victory, and to end with the win, because we want to win, and we don't just want to win, but we want to dominate in life. We want to be able to, do this thing in such a way that someone can look back on our life and say, you know what? I want to be just like that brother or just like that sister who I witnessed them handle their oppositions and go through their trials and through their tribulations. And we do that with God's answer to mankind. And I'm telling you right now, Jesus Christ is our ultimate warrior. And our goal in these vlogs and in this podcast is to empower, to inspire, and to guide you in overcoming life's challenges with faith. And we're going to utilize strategies, but we're going to do it through the concept of teamwork. A friend, a peer, a brother in the Lord, another preacher, he preached a sermon one time, that teamwork makes the dream work. And, when I heard that, it resonated in me, because there is some dreams that I want to work. And I found out that I cannot do it by myself, but, I could do it with teammates. So what are you doing, Coach Jenkins? I am building God a team, and I want you to be a part of the team. So in these vlogs and in these podcasts is that I am on a journey as I continue to move ahead. We're going to talk about the game plan. There's going to be a segment where I'm going to talk about the game plan. And this is where we'll start each episode with the game plan. That's what I do when I'm coaching girls basketball. I start out with a game plan, laying down the fundamentals and what the goal and what we're working on. Just like in basketball, life requires a solid foundation, discipline, teamwork, perseverance, strategy thinking. You don't just get up in the morning and go. No, you got to have a game plan. What is your game plan today? What is your goal? What are you setting out to achieve? So we're going to explore how these principles are not just vital on the basketball court or the football field or the baseball diamond, but they are also crucial for personal growth and success, always rooted in Christ with a Christ-like attitude. Now, many of you may not know Christ, or you might say, well, I don't have time to go to church. Brother, sister, this ain't about church, man. This is about winning in life. This is about finding out your purpose and what God has called you to do and why he placed you on this earth. And then you want to do that at the highest level, because this podcast is about bringing out your greater self. What is my greater self, Coach Jenkins? Well, the greater is he that is in you, right, than he that is in the world. The Bible says God was in Christ, reconciling the world to himself. But now it's Christ in us, the hope of glory. So we're going to bring the greater of ourself to the forefront. You know what I mean? Making him the head of our lives. So, and so I want you to know today what you can expect from Full Court Press. And then we're going to move from the game plan to in the paint. Any of you that play basketball, you know what in the paint is. You hear the coach say it all the time. Get the ball in the paint. I tell my girls all the time, get the ball in the middle. Look for the middle. When you get it in the middle, you can defeat the full court press. But you got to get the ball in the middle. You got to get it in the paint. So that part of our episode, we get down to the nitty gritty. The tough issues we all face in life. Life is much like a game. I'm telling you all this. And can be unpredictable, and it can be challenging. But in this segment, in the paint, it's going to be about navigating those challenges with strength, with agility, and most of all, with faith. Drawing parallels to the determination that is required in most heated moments in basketball games. We got to have everybody on the same page. The team has to be a unit of one. So you got to make sure that everybody that is connected with you and that is on your team on a daily basis understands the game plan and understand that we're going to work the game plan from the paint. We're going to work it from the paint. And because the paint is a part of the game plan, and you cannot get off track from in the paint, because that's where it's happening. That's where the elbows are being thrown. That's where, you really going to work. You backing them down, and you're trying to get that post up. You want to control the paint. So in the paint gonna be a blessing. I can't wait to explore it with you. And then we're gonna move to beyond the arc. How many know we gotta go beyond the arc? In basketball, beyond the arc is required. This is where we share those inspiring, game-changing stories. You know what I mean? I always rally my troop around the fact. I said, let me tell you a story. there was a young man that came up against a giant that would define his family, his friends, his community, and nobody could defeat him. And this little young boy say, show me that uncircumcised giant, and this little boy only had 5 smooth stones, but he understood that the game plan was to defeat this defier of Israel. So he made up in his mind. He didn't care that he was small and the giant was big. All he could remember is he killed the bear. All he could remember is that he was raised in the field. He knew that deep down inside of him, he had what it took. So sometimes, even on the basketball court, you got to go beyond the arc. And sometimes it's those stories that propel our team to go to the next level. So what is your beyond the arc? We're gonna determine what is that one story that pushes you beyond measure. You'll hear about individuals who's leveraged their faith and lessons from basketball to achieve incredible transformation in their lives and the lives of others. It's about making that long shot and the impact it can have. And it's in this episode that I expect to have guests, athletes who have, went beyond the arc and how their faith, really helped them determine the end and the expectation of it and what it was all about. So Beyond the Arc going to be amazing. I want you to join me because there's going to be something in these vlogs, in these podcasts that's going to propel you to go forward. And after we, finish with Beyond the Arc, and, then we're going to talk about there's the heart of what I believe the show, the Full Court Press segment, is really all about. And that's what we're going to deal with, the Full Court Press. It's where we focus on applying intense effort and strategy planning to life challenges. Much like the defensive strategy in basketball. I tell my young ladies, if we're going to be successful in girls basketball in Broward County, Florida, if we're going to make our name known, if people are going to respect us, not as the scrappy crew or a few girls that got together because they needed something extracurricular to do because the only reason why they're at the school is for academic purposes, we're going to let them know, oh no. But here's what we got to understand. Every girls basketball team that I play in my community always start out in the Full Court Press. And if we cannot break that press, we're not going to be successful in our basketball season. So this is where we're going to talk about adversity, strategic living, the importance of teamwork and support, and transforming pressure into opportunity, and practical tools and tips for applying these strategies in your daily life. So it's like, a couple of times I say, all right, we're going stack. And that's where, we're going to stack it up. We're going to pick for each other. We're going to get somebody open. When we get them open, their responsibility is to get that ball to the middle. And that middle man is able to turn around and find those two guards coming on the wings, or they can just dribble down themselves. But the mindset is they broke the press. We got to break the full court pressure in life. I mean, from the time you wake up in the morning, here come the devil. As soon as your feet hit the ground, the enemy said, oh God, they done woke up and they ready to go again. And guess what? We ain't just coming at it because we are privileged and we have Jesus in our life. No, we have strategies of breaking the full court pressures of life, the pressures in our families, the pressures that are in our marriage, the pressures that are on our job to succeed. It's just so many overwhelming things that come at us on a daily basis. But guess what? In the full court press, God is going to teach us how to navigate these things. We're going to share tools to help you get to the next level. And then after you break the press, man, you have a victory in your game of life, whatever you're doing, then there's the locker room. Come on, somebody. The locker room, that is important to any team The locker room is where you are listeners. That's where you come in, right? When we finish that game, we all go in that locker room before we go home. We talk about the victory or the challenge that we just come through. What did we learn? What could we do better? It's in that moment we get intimate. So in the vlog, in the podcast of Full Court Pressure, this is where I want you to partake. I haven't decided yet how we're going to do it, whether you're going to get your letters in, there's going to be, a moment in pre-recording or what have you, but there are going to be times when the locker room are part of our, blog or podcast. We want to be able to connect with our listeners. That's where you come in at. It's our interactive segment where we share stories. You write me a story, I'm going to share it with the masses. I'm going to let people know that there are somebody out there that's winning. We're going to pull in a motivation from around the athletic world, and we can't wait for college football to come back and hear what Coach Dion got to say. He certainly has been an influencer. He influenced me so as a preacher to let me know, man, that my job is to produce life and to produce that life more abundantly, and that we have to come out of that in the pocket moment. We got to come out of that, hide behind that pulpit. We got to come from behind those walls of tradition, and we got to come from behind those walls where we count people out. We're in a different life now. We're in a different day, and there's different challenges. As a Latter-day preacher, my challenges is a whole lot different from my father's challenges. I was telling somebody, my father's generation, they went to church Sunday morning, Sunday night, Tuesday night, Thursday night, those regular scheduled service. And then you had, Monday night this, you had, Wednesday night that, you had Friday night that, and then mama would get all those ladies together on Saturday, and they would sell and make money for the church, and they would do that year after year after year. But in this day, come on, man, after the pandemic, we're almost down to one face-to-face meeting a week. Isn't that amazing? That we've gone from 5 to 6 to 7 times of gathering as a people, huddling up and, having that bonding, that reach out and touch moment. It's gone. But guess what? The gospel must still be effective. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday, today, and forevermore. Jesus loved the sinner. Jesus loved the saint. We have to understand this is the game of life. And until the last horn go off, we still are our brother's keeper. Whether our brother is having an identity crisis, don't know who he is, or don't know what he want to be, whether she's having a crisis or who she is, what she want to be, haven't decided yet. You know what? With God, all things are possible. We got to just keep on producing the game plan. We got to say, you know what? We didn't get the victory today, but guess what? The season is not over. We're going to go back out there. That's the locker room. That's the locker room. It's a testament to the power of community and the shared journey of faith and perseverance. And I'm excited. I can't wait for the locker room segments to come. And listen, and as we continue in the season, okay, we're going to remember this. The Full Court Press with the pastor, Coach Jenkins, is here for you, right? Whether you are facing a tough defense in life or looking for that game plan to succeed, whatever it is, we got you covered, all right? We got you covered. So I just want to thank you for tuning in to my little seasons, I call them, and my different episodes. I'm on episode 6, and most of it is just me vlogging to tell you about what's coming. We ain't even got there yet. But as Dion would say, we coming. Well, we're, and that's another thing as it relates to the game plan of life. You have to pick and choose your poison. But there's always somebody that's going to come along and encourage you. There was one fact, and I'm so grateful to be living in this time. Man, when President Barack Obama became president of the United States, it wasn't the day that they announced him the president that intrigued me. that motivated me, made me go back to college, man, at the age of 51 years old. I said, you know what? I'm going to finish what I started, because here I witnessed a black brother in America articulate words in such a manner that resonated with me, something that in my generation we didn't get to experience, like in my father's generation with the Martin Luther Kings and the Jesse Jacksons and all of those heroic men in our community. But I had a personal encounter with this young man, Barack Obama, and he was in my age bracket, and I'm like, wait a minute here, what's going on? And then when police brutality hit our community in such a way, and here I am, a community pastor, and question about what's going on in our communities, and how do you explain to parents when word is that their son have been beat down and broke. And I was actually lost for words, because guess what? The words that I needed to articulate was not in me. So you know what? Barack inspired me to get up from there. It's never too late. And that's what I did. I went back to college, man. I got my degree. I'm in college now, getting 2 degrees. And one of those degrees I thought would be important, even if I never work in the field. And that was to understand criminal justice and criminology, and how the law works, and why did that mother's son didn't make it home, or why did they handle that child in the way they did, or why was that child handcuffed and went to jail. See, I didn't have knowledge of that, but now I have knowledge of it. You know why? I went and schooled myself. So it was the motivation of Barack Obama that made me want to get up and do something. But then, Lord and behold, God sends another encourager in the person of Deion Sanders. And knowing him as it resonates, being an icon in my day growing up, watching him from a distance and seeing his upbringings and seeing his desire and his passion, and it motivated me as a black man to say, listen, you're a coach in sports, and you're touching the lives of children, and you can be a catalyst to help some young man or some young lady go to the next level. And before he came on the scene, many of you know I owned my own football team, which was, I called a second chance program to help young men, specifically young black men, although I had Caucasian brothers play for me. I had, all kinds of cultural diversity on my team. And I helped so many, and they know me today. So, I go into a barbershop, it's like, hey, coach, hey, pastor, all in the same conversation. And so much respect for me. And I realized that, guess what? I'm somebody's Barack Obama. I'm somebody's Deion Sanders, who they can touch and who they can feel. So I want to appreciate brothers like Barack, brothers like Deion, and other, many, many more that we'll talk about in this full court press that are motivating young black men, Hispanic men, other men of color, who sometimes don't have that hope to look to. Maybe there's not a father in the home. Maybe there's not an uncle who's worth even talking to. But as a pastor, as a community leader, as a coach, I want to say to another pastor, another coach, you are valuable. Together, you and I are going to create the game plan that's going to help our young men be successful and to dominate in life, to get all that life has to offer. And I want you to join me each week as we get to the heart of it. And listen, I won't hold you any longer. I just wanted to give you an overview of what you can expect that's coming soon with Full Court Press with the pastor, Coach Jenkins. Thank you so much for allowing me to come in your space today, tonight, in the morning, whenever you might be hearing my voice. And there's one thing I can't get away from as I let you go. Remember this, as I always tell you. I'll tell you again today. If you go with God, God's going to go with you. God bless you. I love you. And I'll see you on the next time. Be blessed in Jesus' name.